Good morning, dear Dharma friends. How lovely to see you. Hello to those of you on Facebook and YouTube. It worked yesterday and I haven't changed anything, so I hope that happens. It's the 3rd of September. How could that be? It's cooler, certainly. It's much darker than it was a little while ago, a few days ago. I woke up excited and a little anxious this morning. I'm going to the recording studio to spend 6 or 8 hours, hopefully finishing recording my book. And it's a little less daunting this time, having done it for a chunk of time a few weeks ago. But I'm looking forward to getting that done. So to begin I should do station identification. This is the Buddha Broadcasting Network coming to you from Beaverton, Oregon. A broadcast of the Portland Insight Meditation Community, of which there are many every week. There are, I should count sometimes, 7 other teachers, including then myself. And lots is happening. You can find out a great deal about that at www.portlandinsight.org. And now, it's a little story. It's a story about self-love and self-esteem, and about the fact that we all have flaws, and it's crucial that we learn to love ourselves with them. Now, just check this. Oh dear. Jennifer is in my car trying to start it to take it in for repairs. And we're up against quite a time crunch this morning. I'm going to ask you to sit for 3 or 4 minutes while I go and hopefully manage to get it to start. Isn't life interesting? It's a perfect setup for today's little reading. I'll be back. Oh. Sometimes it's good to have a membership with AAA. Always, I think. So, I lost my iPad in the process. There was a time in my life when these non-lethal challenges would have created a lot of anxiety. Now it's a little sort of funny. It's like, oh, so we got tight connections and now my car won't start. I just remembered something. A friend of mine, Conrad, said years ago. He is a hand surgeon here in Portland. And his uncle was a surgeon also, as I recall. And he said his uncle gave him a very important teaching. If there isn't spurting blood or a blocked airway, it's not an emergency. Touches me, that. So here's the reading. A cracked water pot. A water bearer in India had 2 large pots, each hung on opposite ends of a pole, which he carried across his neck. One of the pots had a crack in it, and while the other pot was perfect and always delivered a full portion of water at the end of the long walk from the stream to the master's house, the cracked pot arrived only half full. For a full 2 years this went on daily, with the bearer delivering only 1.5 pots of water to his master's house. Of course, the perfect pot was proud of its accomplishments, perfect to the end for which it was made. But the poor cracked pot was ashamed of its own imperfection and miserable that it was able to accomplish only half of what it had been made to do. After 2 years of what it perceived to be a bitter failure, it spoke to the water bearer one day by the stream. "I am so ashamed of myself, and I want to apologize to you." "Why?" asked the bearer. "What are you ashamed of?" "I have been able for these last 2 years to deliver only half of my load because this crack in my side causes water to leak out all the way back to the master's house. Because of my flaws, you have to do all of this work and you don't get full value from your efforts," the pot said. The water bearer felt sorry for the old cracked pot, and in his compassion he said, "As we return to the master's house, I want you to notice the beautiful flowers all along the path." Indeed, as they went up the hill, the old cracked pot took notice of the sun warming the beautiful wildflowers on the side of the path, and this cheered its son. But at the end of the trail, it still felt bad because it had leaked out half its load. And so again it apologized to the bearer for its failure. The bearer said to the pot, "Did you notice that there were flowers only on your side of the path, but not the other pot's side? That's because I have always known about your flaw, and I took advantage of it. I planted flower seeds on your side of the path, and every day while we walk back from the stream, you've watered them. For 2 years I have been able to pick these beautiful flowers to decorate my master's table. Without you being just the way you are, he would not have had this beauty to grace his house." I aspire to love and accept myself exactly as I am in this moment. An aspiration to take into our meditation this morning and every afternoon and for the rest of our lives. Truth is, certainly true in my experience, truth is we're a mixed bag. Can you hear the guitar? take refuge in the Buddha, the one who shows me the way in this life. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Buddhaya, Namo Buddhaya. I take refuge in the Dharma, the way of understanding and love. Namo Dharmaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Dharmaya. I take refuge in the Sangha, the community of mindful harmony. Namo Sanghaya, Namo Sanghaya, Namo Sanghaya. So this morning is exactly as it is. We are who we are this morning, how we are. It's so easy, even normative, to think that there's something wrong with us. I should be better. I shouldn't be anxious. I should have slept better. I should have done my exercises. Marshall Rosenberg, the creator of nonviolent communication, loving, compassionate communication, said of should that it's the most violent word in the English language. Because it makes us fundamentally wrong. This should be different. Well, maybe I can make something different in the future, but now it is as it is. So let's sit right in the middle of the puddle that we are. To sit with the life of the body exactly as it is. The life in the feet and the legs. In the hands, in the shoulders and neck, in the face, in the lips, in the eyes. And notice that breathing is happening. Each breath starts out of nowhere. And each breath is marked by sensations in the body. The expansion of the chest and abdomen, or the air rushing through the nostrils, creating sensations. Come home to this with bare attention. Of course, the mind will wander. It's really natural for it to wander into the past and future, to create the past and future. But relative to mindfulness, to awareness, to the power of the 7 enlightenment factors, the wandering mind is a mere minor distraction. The tendency of consciousness to wake up will in time make more and more of the wanderings obviously just thoughts, just emotions. So please come home. Come home to the present moment, awakening to thoughts and emotions and moods, and abiding in the body, the pasture of abiding of the body. Bask in the life of the body. It is mysterious, isn't it? That awareness exists. Let's not take it for granted. While it's impossible to look directly at awareness, it's possible to know that it's here. There's awareness, and there are the sensations of breathing. There's awareness, and there are thoughts. Who is aware? Well, I am aware, and not the thought. Participating in the magnificence and wonder of being awake in the midst of it all. In the midst of pleasure and pain, success and failure, sickness and health, fame and disrepute, peace and war, coming and going. We take the seed of our awakening One component of the human experience is mood. In order to navigate life with greater and greater ease, it's crucial that we can observe mood as what it is. It's a coloration, a scent in the background through which we observe life. through which life is observed, is seen, known. And mood is very convincing. I aspire to love and accept myself and my experience exactly as I am in each moment. When I am suffering, no matter how I'm suffering, I aspire to hold myself in sweet compassion. When I encounter others, as I grow more sensitive and can see what's happening, I aspire to greet their suffering with sweet compassion. I aspire to see their actions which are rooted in greed, hatred, and ignorance as coming from suffering. And please now think forward, imagine forward into what you think is going to happen in your day today. Imagine yourself bathing mindfully, talking on the phone with love and compassion. Perhaps pausing every now and then for a breath or two or five. If there's something challenging coming today, something that will possibly push your buttons, activate your neurotic tendencies, imagine remembering at that moment, I aspire to love and accept myself exactly as I am in this moment. Or even simpler, I love you with your name at the end. to yourself. You don't have to be perfect for me to love you. I will love you exactly as you are. This is the love of the Buddha or Kuan Yin, which it is our privilege to bring into the world. And please now notice the life of your body as it sits here, as it breathes. Soften your focus and become aware of the entire body. And please now, bringing awareness into the eyes, in the face, the whole body. And allow the eyes to open. It's not so much allowing, is it, as willing them to open, noticing the intention and then making the effort to open the eyes. And then when the eyes are open, you may see, I see a screen with 25 little vignettes, 25 little lifetimes that are happening right in front of me. A few minutes ago, I remembered a practice that I learned from the Sufis. It's one of their central practices. Sufism is the mystical side of Islam. Western Sufism in particular is very pan-denominational. But this practice is called zikr, and I used to do it on retreats sometimes. There's some very interesting music. And there's 101 repetitions of this phrase, La ilaha el Allahu. And the phrase means, in its mystical sense, there's nothing that's not God. There's nothing that's not the One. It is all one. And there's a head movement. It goes like this. It's La ilaha el Allahu. La ilaha el Allahu. You can sometimes do it with linked arms in a circle. And then there's a visualization, which is what I thought of earlier, which is that there's a cone of light, an inverted cone that starts here and that goes up into the infinite vastness of the universe. And that cone is funneling the love of the universe down into one's head and into the heart. And one does this, La ilaha el Allah, that's the bringing of that light and love into the heart. And then it's spread from the heart out to all beings. It's a practice of manifesting the love of the universe, the love of the Buddha, the love of God, making our bodies as vehicles of that transformation of universal love into the particulars of love. Quite a beautiful practice. Not unlike what we're doing here, it's just another formulation of it. So I have a couple of announcements. Thank you for being here this morning. I am much more relaxed and saner than I was when I came to this beautiful little house I get to broadcast from. All the various anxieties have diminished a lot. So announcements. First is a thank you to individuals and the community. We are involved in a fundraising activity, the practice of generosity, inviting people to become monthly donors if you're not already. And 29 people have responded to that call already. And that's going to make a big difference in our annual budget, and even bigger in the longer term. So I want to thank you for that. And if you haven't, if you're not having the delight of contributing on a monthly basis, I invite you, see how fun it would be, see how relieving and comforting it would be to do that. The second announcement I want to show on the screen here. Can I get to it? Yeah, Doyle Banks. Is it going to come up? It did. Skillful Speech and Nonviolent Communication with Doyle Banks. Skillful speech is, of course, one of the folds of the Noble Eightfold Path, which the Buddha taught. In order to do no harm and harbor no ill will, it's crucial we learn how to speak with truth and compassion. NVC provides us with the how, and so on. Doyle needs 3 more people, and I invite you to be one of them. You'll be really glad you took this class if you do. He's an amazing teacher, and he really manifests nonviolent communication. And then there's one more I want to share. Can I get to it? That's that. This is this. Aren't these pictures, isn't this advertising gorgeous? Molly Balin, Gregory's wife, does this for us. Basics of Mindfulness with Doug Pullen. In this introductory class, the basic instruction in insight meditation will be given sequentially, beginning with mindfulness of breathing, followed by mindfulness of the body, of emotions, of thoughts, of mind, and the application of mindfulness in daily life and on retreat. It's appropriate for beginners as well as for experienced meditators who want to refresh the fundamentals of their practice. I haven't read this before. Develop a healthier relationship with your thoughts. Develop more balance with your emotions. Be more in touch with your body and mind. Increase your capacity to be loving and kind. Now that's not bad. Those are good goals. And it's true. Doug's a very fine teacher. I met Doug when he came as a 21-year-old Lewis and Clark student. I went with my first wife, who was a professor there. We took 25 Lewis and Clark students to India. You ready for this? For 5 months. 5 months with a group of 21-year-old wild young people. And Doug was one of them and has been my colleague and friend and a Dharma buddy ever since then. That was 1979. I had dark hair then. So I think that's, did I get back from that? Jim is teaching a day long, a morning from 9 to 1 or 9 to 2 on Saturday. I invite you to make a day of practice with Jim.
Yes, I sent out a little invitation or reminder on Connections. So there's a link in Connections to the registration. Thank you.
So I believe that's enough from me. What's unfolding in your life? Is there a question that arose as a result of this morning's guided meditation? Are you having successes and delights you'd like to share with the group and help buoy us up through this challenging time? Is the dukkha really challenging you? If you wish to speak, simply press your spacebar or unmute, and you will have us. You will have all of our ears and hearts.
Hi, Robert. This is Davina. Can you hear me?
Hello, Davina. Loud and clear.
So I had an experience a couple of weeks ago that I've been wanting to share, and I'm just noticing how hard it is for me to press that unmute button. So I really appreciate the way that you've consistently issued an invitation to people to speak. A couple of weeks ago, I had to fast for about a day and a half in preparation for a colonoscopy, which not super fun. And I was anxious about the physical sensation of hunger, but in the end, I was able to sort of control that by sipping bone broth, which I make, and it's super delicious. So I highly recommend that to anybody who's going through this process. But I was totally unprepared for the kind of psycho-spiritual dimension of fasting. And in the second day, as I got hungrier and hungrier, I felt like I was kind of losing my humanity. And I was going into this kind of primal space where I could no longer guarantee my peaceful nature. And I just got angrier and angrier and felt like I was becoming an animal in a way. Like I felt this kind of connection to this primal need. And by the same token, afterwards, when I was able to eat, it was almost like an ecstatic experience. Like the eating was so delightful and pleasurable. And so it was this incredible reminder that this very basic need is met. And I think often I don't think about all those parts of the Maslow hierarchy that are actually met for me. And I guess what I took away was a greater empathy for all the people that I see in the city every day who are struggling to survive and struggling to get by, and who are probably operating out of a more primal sense of need than I am. And it made me really grateful for food and for the experience of eating. So I just kind of wanted to share that. It was a big spiritual experience. It was very interesting.
Thank you, Davina.
Yeah.
Hello, Robert.
It's Janine.
It is.
Hello, Janine.
Hello. So, a couple of things. First of all, thank you for sharing that cracked pot story. I've heard it before, and it also reminded me of a Leonard Cohen refrain, which is, ring the bells that still can ring. Forget your perfect offering. There is a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in. And I've loved that too. I often repeat that to myself when I'm struggling with some of my own cracks. So that just came to me this morning during the meditation again. And finally, just to thank you, I twice yesterday, once at the doctor when she asked me how I was managing to get through the pandemic, and then again in another group I belong to where that same question was raised, I found myself answering, it's this meditation I do in the morning that is an anchor to my day and that keeps me reminded of a whole bunch of things that I need to be reminded of. So just to thank you for being a part of the Sangha and being a part of this morning meditation, which indeed I found is an anchor for me.
Thanks, Janine.
Yep.
Yeah, this Zoom thing overcomes the obstacle of living in cities far apart from one another. It's really quite an interesting experience. Well, you got Leonard Cohen singing in my mind now. There's a crack in everything. And there's that wonderful, the two sisters who sing in the background. They do that incredible harmony. Oh, amazing. That's how the light gets in.
Robert, this is Jim. Can you hear me?
I can hear you fine, Jim. Hello.
I've got a meditation question because you've taught scores or hundreds, whatever, of students, and I was really into a regular routine every morning. I looked forward to our session, and I enjoyed it, and it just seemed like it was, going along. And then I went camping for a week. That was wonderful. And then some friends were visiting from out of town for a week, and then I thought, well, I'll just start up again. And I feel like it's like starting over again or something. I guess I thought I was just going to be kind of people to pick up, but I'm sitting there, and why am I doing this? And it's taking so long, and I'm not there yet. This isn't working, and it was just like the very beginning, and that doesn't seem fair. And what's been your experience with people that got into a meditation routine and then took a break for some reason, and then it must happen a lot, and then just give up, or I don't know. Do you have to start at square one? That's the question.
There is only one square. It's always now. And as you were working your way through that, posing that question, I remembered this, the story of, and you can you can read this story in chapter 3 of my book. It's the life of the Buddha. That he sits down and he's ready to awaken, and Mara sends these challenges. First, he sends the beautiful women, and Siddhartha realizes in the end, it would be lovely to be with you, but then it would be tomorrow morning, and nothing would have changed. So he dispels that delusion. And then there's the second one, which is the armies of fear and anger and so on. And he has so much love they can't disrupt him. And then along comes the third one, which is when I tell this story publicly, I like to have my phone. Someone, a stooge in the audience, make my phone ring. And so I'm telling the story, and then my phone rings, and I pick it up, and I say, people think, what is he doing answering the phone while he's giving a talk? And I answer it like this. I say, hello, Mara here. Oh, King Suddhodana, Siddhartha, it's your father. And he's meditating. He was always meditating when there was work to do. And so the fact is, there's lots of things that want to dislodge us from our seat. And when we come back, especially if we've been doing dispersive things, we can have relapses of many different kinds. And then we're just not in the habit, in a way. But I would say this: fear not, because the practice is cumulative. And if you tolerate the discomfort for a few days, you'll discover you're right back where you were, that you're more awake than you've ever been. And sometimes relapses are really important, actually, because we learn things when we do that. And then I would scold you a little. Are you open for scolding?
Yes, I love it.
So, I'm thinking of Mr. Miyagi here. So you went camping?
Yes.
And didn't meditate while you were camping?
Well, the whole thing was a meditation. I guess it wasn't. I certainly did meditate when I was camping, but it wasn't it wasn't at 7 a.m. It was sitting on some rocks down by the lake,
nice.
And it was very. I mean, it was definitely meditating, but I guess it's the morning, these sessions.
Mm-hmm.
I got out of the habit for sure. Even just getting up, I used to just wake up, and now I find I'm sleep. I almost have to set the alarm. I'm starting over.
So doubt comes along, and we're always starting over. We're really always starting over. And we never know, back in October, I got up in the morning in Vancouver, and then I had that stroke on the plane, and then suddenly I was involved in brain surgery and drugs, and under the influence of the anesthesia and the anti-seizure medication, I had zero mindfulness. It wasn't even starting over. I couldn't find the present moment. And so we just never know when we're going to be challenged. And then we just face that challenge. Here I am, and there's these thoughts about, oh no, I'm starting over. And those are just thoughts. And then we're right here. We're always coming back to just this moment of awakeness. And we use whatever's up as the grist for the mill. And this is a lifetime practice. If we're alive 10 or 15 years from now, I anticipate I'll still be doing the same thing, which is remembering to be awake.
Thank you.
And there are changes. I mean, like as I experienced with the oh dear, hang on a second. Dobby the dog, the big black dog, came in and moved the light in front of the camera for YouTube. I would never have believed the dog could be so clumsy and oafish as this black lab. Go away. Go. She needs to meditate more. Thanks for that question, Jim. I hope that was helpful. The best part of that response was the first. There is only one moment, and it's now. And so whatever's happening now, that's what we get to work with. That's what we get to awaken to and through.
This is Kat.
Hello, Kat. Oh, and Ethan.
Yeah, he's found his meditative space too.
Great. Look at him.
Thank you. Thank you so much for this beautiful practice and this beautiful community. I wanted to share, I've been reading your book and about the practice that you recommend very early in the book about putting little star stickers on things to remind yourself to be in the moment of cooking or washing dishes or opening the door. And last night I was feeling pretty crabby, and I remember that exercise, and I happened to have some star stickers, so I started to do that in my house. And of course my kids are here, and so they saw it and they were like, and I freely admit that was my kids being in my house was part of the reason I was having some agitation. So they saw me doing the stickers and they asked for one, and they each put a sticker on themselves. And so, yeah, and for the rest exactly right.
That's too funny.
Yeah, so for the rest of the evening, every time I looked at them when I wanted to snap or wanted to say, would you please stop screaming, or would you please put your Play-Doh away for the 10th time? It was a really beautiful reminder that they are part of it too, to be present, not just for the calm and peaceful washing of the dishes, but also for exactly what is with them. So
Beautiful. I will remember that when I talk about the stars in the future. I'll recommend that. Imagine feeling safe enough you can just roll around in your mom's lap. That's pretty nice. Pretty nice. Better than pretty nice. That's as good as it gets. Well, it's after 8, and I have an appointment to get to. So let me see, is there anybody sitting with something that you'd like or need to share this morning before we go?
Hi, this is Rebecca.
Hello, Rebecca.
Good morning, everyone. I just had a thought too. I think I'm going to try putting a star on Donald Trump. See if I can change my response to him when I've been having such agitation and worry about the possibility of his reelection. So I'm going to try the star thing for him.
It is frightening, isn't it?
It really is.
Yeah.
I hear that the European odds makers are placing their bets that he will win. So it's kind of, I don't know. I'm trying to tune the news out a bit more recently, but get my equanimity back. But
Yeah, I think that may become more and more important because it's going to get wild.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
Thanks, Rebecca.
yeah, thank you.
All right, dear friends, shall we go out on a song? I think so. Ethan, are you ready? Maybe you've done it before, or maybe you haven't, but you can join us. Unmute all. Thanks for joining me this morning, everybody. May all beings be happy. May all beings be happy. May all beings be happy. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you, dear friends. Have a wonderful, mindful day. Goodbye.
Bye, Kat.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, friends. Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye, B.
Okay, that's that. Okay. Oh, yes. Goodbye, dear Facebook.